Hi everybody, today I thought I'd do a little Elastic APM demo using the Gallivant application that we have available to us. Now the Gallivant application is over here. You can see it's a pretty standard website, e-commerce website with various different fashion items in here, cardigans, leather jackets, that kind of thing. There's a little service up here that serves up adverts. So there's something here that's essentially serving up adverts, and we have a little problem with the service. It currently is sometimes a little bit slow, and we want to try and find out what's happening. Now, one of the things that you can do with Elastic APM, Elastic Observability, is you can actually see what's happening. What happens when we add something to cart, for example, like this? We actually assign a little ID, and as you can see, this is actually pretty slow too. We actually assign an ID to that request and we pass it to all the downstream services. And you can see a little view of that over here. This is the Elastic APM service, and you'll see the front end application that we were just looking at, and then all the downstream services that service those requests. So we can see a holistic view of all of our components that make up our Gallivant online store. And as I said, when we check something out, when we do something on the website, we assign an ID to trace that transaction so that we can see exactly what happens for each individual request to all the services downstream. So it's a bit like tracking a parcel, right? You know how you get a tracking number, you see where the parcel is, you can even see in real time exactly where the parcel is. We can do similar things with APM, right? Every time you click checkout, we give it a tracking number, we pass that tracking number to all these different services downstream. We can see exactly what's happening, which really helps to understand the root cause of a problem when you get problems in your environments. So the Gallivant store is a little bit problematic. We've been having some issues with the advert service. Now, at the moment, it's showing as green, but I'm wondering if there's anything in here in the advert service that could be causing problems. So we're going to have a little look down here and drill down. Now, we can have a look in here at transactions, and we can see these are the specific things that are happening on the website, like get advertising, get ads service. So whenever we go to the front page, it will go and get an advert, serve it up to the user, and show you that advert. And we can see here that most of these are happening. Every time we get an advert, most of them happening within 40 to 50 milliseconds. That's pretty good. Most people wouldn't even notice a response time of 40 or 50 milliseconds, but there's some over here that are absolutely outrageous, like 9 seconds. So we're gonna have a quick look because on average, that looks pretty good, but we really want to drill down into these really long transactions and see if we can find out what the problem is. And the great thing about Elastic is that it will pull together all your logs, metrics, and traces into the same solution. So we can actually see this get ad service for the really slow one. We can actually see the logs for that service, and it actually pulls all of these things together. And in fact, the really slow one, it looks like it's doing some sort of image encoding. So it says the image is not encoded in a format that's compatible with the front end. So it seems like a pretty quick, obvious idea that comes to mind is that we could easily solve this problem by encoding some of these images up front and not doing it when the user is trying to access the website in real time. That could be a quick win for us to reduce the time it takes to do this transaction. Because if you look here, it's nearly 10 seconds to encode that image to a PNG. So we code those images up front, we could get a quick win here. So that's one example of how Elastic Observability can help you and can actually give you the ability to find root cause much, much faster. Now, I've actually created a dashboard over here because one of the other things I'm trying to do is I want to understand if these slow transactions are having an impact on my business, right? So I'm going to go over here and click on dashboards, and you can see this user tracking dashboard. And over here, what I've done is I've made it so that we actually have turned on anomaly detection for the amount field. So every time we go into the website here, there's an amount field. Every time I place an order, it will tell me, how much money I spent, what my total is for that particular shopping cart. As you can see here, $100. And I'm taking that amount field and I'm doing anomaly detection on that amount field. So if there's ever like a problem, this isn't necessarily a problem, but if there's a spike in revenue I can see that. It could be fraud or something. It could be quite interesting for me to investigate what's happening there. Or, indeed, if it goes the other way and revenue drops to zero, or it drops to, negative values, which would be very, very bad for my business, I can actually use machine learning, anomaly detection, to have a little look at whether there's an impacting event, a business impacting event on the Gallivant website. So we can actually use business data to actually see if there are problems, which is really, really exciting. This dashboard actually pulls together logs, metrics, and traces and business data into the same dashboard. So there's some information about how my business is doing. It detected an anomaly because I have a leather jacket obsession, and I went into the website before I did this demo and added loads of leather jackets to the shopping cart that caused this massive revenue spike. Maybe we could even look up the user that caused that revenue spike, and we can actually send them a little gift card to say, hey, it seems like you like leather jackets. Maybe you get a discount next time, right? But equally, if it goes the other way and there's a huge drop in revenue, it would also detect an anomaly in the same way. And we could then start to try to figure out exactly what the problem is with that. So we solved a problem with the advert service earlier. That was pretty easy to solve using the Elastic APM solution. We then looked at how you can detect anomalies with business data and indeed bring that into the dashboard here so that we can actually understand if there are business impacting issues happening on the Gallivant website. So that's going to really help people to really, essentially give you visibility to all aspects of your business, including from the business side. We can help solve some key business things like reducing churn, and we can see where there are problems in your microservices architecture. What I recommend is you take a look at Elastic APM, scan one of the QR codes, and have a look at the quick start guide. We fully support open telemetry, which is another aspect of something you might want to look at. So yeah, go take a look today. Thanks very much for listening.